All right, widespread protests happening across Russia as Russian citizens protest Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine. They're pushing back against the mobilization of hundreds of thousands of new troops, and many of these protests have turned violent. Newsmax correspondent Shelby Wilder live in Kyiv with the details on this. Shelby.
Hi, Sean. Well, as you mentioned, we've been following this sort of mass backlash occurring in Russia over the course of the last week, following the news of partial mobilization made by President Putin. Now, it started as protests in Moscow and St. Petersburg, but has spread across other parts of the country, especially in minority regions. We saw that there was a shooting that took place at a recruitment center in Russia yesterday that led to the death of a recruitment officer there. Following the news last week of this partial mobilization, flights were reportedly sold out for leaving Russia. Ticket prices were soaring. And now we are seeing traffic jams at Russia's border with people trying to leave. There have been reports that Russia might stop men of fighting age from leaving the country in the coming days. And I think the looming question here is whether Putin's reservists, approximately 300,000 people that are being called up to fight in Putin's war in Ukraine, will have the motivation to do so. We know that Ukrainians are highly motivated to defend their homeland, but really only time will tell whether these reservists are going to be willing to fight for Putin in Ukraine. Now, very quickly, we should shift over to other news happening in Ukraine at the moment, which is the wrapping up of these sham referendums. They're currently in their final day, and it's expected that President Putin will make an announcement to the Russian parliament on Friday declaring the results of these sham referendums. They have been called illegal farce by the international community. Western leaders have condemned these votes from taking place in Kherson, Zaporizhia, Donetsk, and the Luhansk regions. And again, we're going to follow President Putin's announcement on Friday to see whether he will officially annex these regions and say they are a part of the Russian Federation.
Right, or if Ukraine recognizes that as well. Shelby Wilder live in Kyiv with that report. Shelby, thank you.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the truth. No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They
Let me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.